signed one of these wrong.
I can reprint it.
I just drew an arrow. I didn't know if that was okay or not.
Depends on what it is.
Thank you. I got 75,000 reasons to have this topic.
Did you see what happened? He was talking to me for 3 minutes. He throws out a compliment immediately during sentence.
No, that's a nice.
No offense.
I speak the obvious, not just me.
That's a very fetching color blue. Okay, 6 o'clock. We're going to bring the August 28th, 2023 meeting to order, and we'll begin with roll call, please. Jenny?
Walters.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here.
Sarchet.
Here.
Vogel. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Item 3, approval of the agenda. I'll have a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call.
Anderson.
Here.
Walters.
Yes. Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes.
Item number 4 is a presentation. Polk County Supervisor Bob Brownell is here, and he is going to present us with a check, community development grant check, which will go toward our community center. So their check is prettier than ours.
We make a lot of them.
There.
Do you have
to look at
something
me.
to say, or are we just
Sure.
doing this? You want to
No,
stand up there?
Well, I think you can hear me here. This is a community development grant we have. Those are our bigger grants we give out to organizations like the city, for example. You guys are one of our fastest growing cities. We love what you're doing up here. Keep up the good work, and we're happy to be able to contribute to help you out with your community center, to city hall, all the stuff we're trying to do up here. And Chelsea doesn't know this yet, but they called me up today and said, "Do you want to take a real check up there or not?" And I said, "Not," but I brought it. You notice I didn't give it to the mayor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll shake your hand. We really appreciate the partnership.
Not a problem.
We're going to take a picture. Are we going to fill in that empty chair? Slide over or something?
You're fine.
Jeff?
Don't do it.
Okay, here we go.
We're a professional photographer for yourself. Got it?
YouTube, yep.
All right, we're good.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Chelsea got you, so you're good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, you're.
Thank you, Bob. Always
Very
good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you, Bob.
Let's see. We'll just stare at that for a while. All right, so item 5 is public comment period. This is the time and place for comments for any item other than those that are public hearing. Have we had anyone who asked to speak, Jenny?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll move on to item 6 then. Consent items. I'll ask for a motion and a second, please.
Second. I got
Any discussion? Sure.
sorry. So a couple things I wanted to point out and then ask on for H, the adopt integrated roadside vegetation management plan. I just wanted to cite, which Chelsea confirmed, that was a part of the community foundation or community visioning work that we had done earlier, but was not formally adopted in this form or by council at its step.
Correct. The mayor signed the plan back in 2021, and it was never approved by the council.
Okay.
Yep.
So again, a little bit biased towards community visioning, but I wanted to cite that group again here. And then I did want to maybe have a little more extrapolation on N. So you've got an update in there from FEH on our City Hall and Fire Department project updates. More concerning the City Hall being 5 months in and 2 months behind. The language in there, I know it gives a reason for why we are where we are, but the language seems a little passive in terms of it appears that delay is caused to this and that. Is there anything that we can do to try and to speed things along more on the city hall side since the fire department renovation is a little bit farther along and on the back hill side. I'm concerned with city hall going into a difficult construction season, winter already being behind, and I know, like it stays in here, some of the supply chain concerns that it lists here, but I don't know. So my question, I guess, Chelsea, to you is comfort level on this being either most or all of the delays that we'll have, and are we doing everything we can to emphasize their timeline?
I think we're all a little bit concerned how behind schedule they are, so there's not a lot that we can do to answer your question. I will say that the contractor's aware they're behind schedule, and it's their responsibility if they don't get the building up before winter. They're going to have to pay those costs to winterize the building. So I think that's some motivation to get additional employees and workers on the job site to get caught up.
Okay.
So not a lot that we can do at this time. We have a completion date of, I think it's May, it's the middle of May of 2024. So as long as they're adhering to that, but we'll certainly encourage them to continue moving along. But there is there's something incentivizing them to keep on schedule before winter hits, and they do know that.
Okay. And are you satisfied with FEH and their role monitoring that, motivating them?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll ask for a roll call then, please.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
So we'll move on to item 7A, Resolution 2023-103, Lakeside Fellowship Church Site Plan Amendment. Travis, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so for council's consideration tonight is a site plan amendment for Lakeside Fellowship Church. This building addition will add just under 9,000 square feet of building space that will primarily be used for classrooms. The developer is proposing an aesthetically similar building to the existing building to tie in existing features. This site plan also will include the expansion or the replacement of the gravel parking lot that's currently in place with concrete in order to meet their paving deferral agreement they have with the city. Your approval tonight would be subject to several subject twos. Two of them being related to a stormwater management facility easement agreement and covenant, essentially modernizing the detention practice to what Polk City currently requires. Effectively, for the church's sake, the only difference is what they're doing today, monitoring and maintaining those facilities, and what they would be required to do is a yearly inspection consistent with the other developments here in Polk City. The next subject two would be related to the final proposed height of the screening materials for the canopy units on the roof. Those items are still kind of in flux because it's not completely final designed, but that was a concern that P&Z had raised. And then our standard language about an agreement to complete to make sure that the site plan gets completed in a timely manner before, during, or after occupancy of that additional building, and phase 3 being an opposite pitch roof in order to meet the intent of Polk City's architectural standards and codes. With that's staff's report. The developer's engineer is here. If you guys would like any other information, or hearing if I missed something you'd like to present.
I'd just be happy to answer any questions if you guys have.
Why don't you come up, Aaron, then you can take the big check off the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Erin Olendike, sold as anything an inch. My address 4021 Northwest Dale Drive. Tonight on behalf of Travis gave a good presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I do have a presentation for it, but maybe I see that. So.
Questions? How does the soccer complex fit into that?
Yeah, so we are actually taking the field and we're shifting it over a little bit, but we're still able to fit that full-size field. And then when phase 3 addition comes along, then the soccer field goes away.
And just for the, and I remember this, we talked about this at P&Z, but I think phase 3, and I know you came to our earlier discussion on building and planning, and, I think it was 5 years or something that you was thrown out there by
Yeah,
the
they
church.
kind of threw that out. It
Yeah.
all depends on the need.
Of
and
course, yeah.
They're definitely growing and this addition is needed. So
Yeah.
as long as they continue to grow, I'm sure that phase 3 will come along soon.
I hope they continue to grow as well.
I do too.
Yes. Nothing that needs more in this country right now. So, what the only concern at P&Z was that additional building, how that would tie in, and make sure the screening 8 or 6 foot, I believe, to cover the utilities on top of that. The classroom building was really the only things that were talked about at P&Z, and everybody was in consensus. The screening being the biggest, kind of not the biggest, but the one thing that the builder decided that they would do. That Travis had mentioned.
Yep, and it is worth noting that since P&Z saw this, the developer went back and they added additional screening to extend it so that it is proposed to be approximately 9 inches from the existing and then future proposed building, closing that gap as to not give the impression of a box on a box, to actually screen the presence of that mechanical unit versus just screening what it is, and you know exactly where it is. And 9 inches was basically what we were told in order to give the building the ability to sway and move with weather, wind, that kind of thing, as well as the constructability of the screening units or the screening material itself.
Okay, great, thank you both.
Thanks.
So I'll ask for a motion and a second on resolution 2023-103 Lakeside Fellowship Church site amendment. So
Second.
roll call.
Vogel? Yes. Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
DeVore?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Item B is resolution 2023-104 Big Creek Ridge preliminary plat. Travis, you're up again.
So for council's consideration tonight is the preliminary plat related to Big Creek Ridge. This plat is located east of 3rd Street along northeast to north side drive on the south side of the road. Located just east of the cemetery there on North Side Drive, and just southeast of the maintenance building, to kind of give you context of where it's at. The developer is proposing 23 single-family lots, 4 potential basin outlots, and then 1 non-buildable outlot located along Northside Drive that's separated from the remainder of the parcel through a pretty substantial waterway / floodway. The lots proposed are more estate-type lots, ranging anywhere from about 1.5 acres all the way up to, it looks like about 2.5 to 3 acres, somewhere in that range. So they're larger lots. The developer is proposing a tree preservation easement on the backside of the lots that butt that waterway to provide permanent preservation of those trees. Your approval tonight would be subject to a couple of things. The first being the developer signing a development agreement, defining their responsibility for the future improvement of East Northside Drive. Polk City Code requires developers to participate in the improvement of adjacent roadways that are currently non-conforming. Being a rural cross-section, Northside Drive falls into that category. The developers agreed in concept to the 3.5 foot curb and gutter widening of the HMA roadway to bring that up to Polk City standards. The second subject to would be related to the developer shall be responsible for acquiring all off-site easements prior to approval of construction drawings. Right now, they're stubbing utilities onto the adjacent properties in accordance with Polk City Code. They're showing temporary turnarounds to ensure that emergency vehicles as well as residents can get in and out of those developments in the interim stage that it's in, but those are proposed on adjacent property. So those easements will need to be required before this council will consider approval of construction drawings. I know the developer and developer's engineer are here. If you'd like to present anything I may have missed, or they can answer questions as well.
Why don't you come on up, please?
Hello, my name's Eric Grubb. I am the developer. Address is 17389 Berkshire Parkway 5. Don't have a whole lot to add, just maybe expand a little bit on what Travis said. You know, we're looking to do a real executive type development here, kind of a rural feel, but with all the city services. We're proposing just 23 lots and about 45 acres. So the lots range from 1 acre to 3 acres in size. Through the construction process, we're focusing on leaving as much of the existing tree cover on the property, which is about the west half of it, as we can, and then preserving that tree cover with the preservation easement Travis mentioned. We're also looking to leave as much as we can along Northside Drive. There's some existing mature trees we'd like to leave as much as we possibly can, kind of create that natural buffer between the street and go. The lots are 150-foot wide minimum lot frontage, where typically a large lot would be somewhere in that 90, 100 feet. So these are, 50% larger than what a lot of times we consider a large high-end lot. And then we're also looking to do increased front yard setbacks, just to set the homes back a little bit further than what would be required, just to create, again, more of a executive feel for the street. So a little bit more color on what we're proposing, but excited to see it come together. And engineers here as well, if you have any specific engineering questions.
I'm sure this is in here somewhere, but I couldn't find it. Basic question. What is the purpose of Arbor Avenue connect to future development?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
There's future development projected to the east, and this street would tie into that.
Okay.
So Arbor would continue that.
And that was at our behest?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Polk City Code requires connectivity of your streets, and this is not a candidate. So there's not a lot of connectivity available to the west, and so we don't want this long cul-de-sac. And that is something that is worth mentioning is as part of this development, they are requesting a formal waiver of the block length. Your block length requirement is 1,320 feet. They're asking for 1,360. That's based purely on topography, rather, and staff is on board with that.
Okay. Love the tree preservation, 50 acres and 23 lots. It's hard to that density, so no concerns.
And the bike, I think I read the bike trail does not impact this property at all.
It'd be out to the east. They've been working with the future developer to the east.
I want to echo what Rob said. This is going to look so nice coming into the east side of town. Just a real neat feel into the community.
It goes uphill from Northside Drive. It's, pretty sharp.
Yeah,
It's
so
like-
thanks for bringing this in.
It's not nice to hear from someone who wants to put in less houses and not
Yeah.
more, so we appreciate
Kind
that.
of rare. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and have a motion and a second on B, Resolution 2023-104, Big Creek Ridge preliminary plat.
Move approval.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Vogel? Yes. Anderson?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
DeVore? Sarchet?
Yes.
Item C is Resolution 2023-105, awarding soil quality restoration project bid. Chelsea?
Today, we received 3 bids for our citywide soil quality restoration project. We received a bid from Lewis Lawn and Labor for 11 cents per square foot, A+ Lawn and Landscape for 13 cents per square foot, and Quality Cut Lawn Care for 15 cents per square foot. All bids had supplementing documents, and Lewis Lawn does appear to be low bid. For the council's information, the last go-around we did with this citywide project, we paid 22 cents per square foot. So the lowest bid is half the cost from the last go-around. And Lewis Lawn and Labor was our contractor last time as well.
Wow. Thank you.
So, which part of that do I want to focus on? With inflation being what it is for 2 years, their bid, when competitive, is half what it was when they were the only.
I think a lot of these companies have honed in on how to do this practice a little bit better. They've invested in better equipment. So I think that is why we're seeing all around lower bids than what we paid last time.
Very generous perspective.
The first time, we were part of this the first time, and it was very labor intensive. They had a large crew of people working when they were doing this. So maybe they don't have, like you said, better equipment, fewer people. So,
Good pricing.
let's go ahead with item C, a motion and a second to approve resolution 2023-105 awarding soil quality restoration project bid.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vogel. Sorry.
Oh, did you have something to say?
Well, yeah,
That's good.
I missed something because I was reading here. Who are we awarding it to, the lowest bidder? The one that did it last time? Okay,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Walters. Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Item D, third read.
Sorry, I just wanted to add a thing, because I'm focusing probably on the wrong part. It would not, what the city's doing here is the right thing by having this project, which is regardless of bidding environment, beneficial to the folks that take advantage of this through the grants that we've received to do this, and the right thing to do from a long-term management of the impervious soil. So appreciate staff. I know it wasn't the last time we did this, the largest version of this type of effort in the county to that point.
Yes, it was. And
Okay.
we call it the Polk City method. And there's been other cities that have, Clive and Johnston have also done a go-around recently.
So again, my frustration with the competitive bid or lack thereof at times process, what I should be calling out, should have called out first, was the fact that we're offering something at a scale that nobody else is, seeing the value of this type of work to restore soil, which Ron has been lamenting for years and years about developers scalping that topsoil and trying to fix that. So appreciate staff time and all the work here.
Have we done roll call?
Yes, sorry. that was my fault.
Okay. Let's move on to D then. Third reading of ordinance 2023-9300, amending chapter 57, dangerous and vicious animals. Ask for a motion and a second.
Second.
Any comment? Hearing none, we'll ask for roll call vote.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes. Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
And then item E, Snyder and Associates, June 2023 engineering services invoice in the amount of $47,505.25. Ask for a motion and a second, please.
So, second.
Roll call?
Anderson.
Yes.
Walters.
Staying.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Vogel. Yes.
So item 8 is reports and particulars. We'll just begin with staff.
I just wanted to share, we applied for AFG grant, Assistance Firefighters Grant in
February, and we were awarded $30,000 for expired structural firefighting gear. So that should replace the 6 that we have currently on staff that are wearing expired gear. So yeah, awarded that a few weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great news.
Anyone else? No? Chelsea, anything?
No.
Council, anything? I don't really have anything to add either, so we'll move on then to item 9, closed session, and ask for a motion and a second, please, to go into closed session,
Second.
and a roll call.
Walters?
Yes.
Dvorak?
Yes.
Sarchet?
Yes.
Vogel?
Yes.
Anderson?
All right, so we'll ask anybody who was invited to stay for the closed session to please do so. All up.